So this is the 2 kits of the UTC Gloss I received on 3/21 of 22. I used this as I normally do last night, and I realized it's extremely thin, a lot thinner than the normal UTC Gloss. Mixed it as I do every other UTC Gloss, and yeah, it turned out horrible. So these are the 2 bottles I have that are very, very thin, and that's the UTC code, which is the same on most of my bottles. But then on the bottom, I'm assuming that's a lot number. It's hard to see, but that's a 6 on that one, and also a 6 on this one as well. So I don't know if maybe that's a lot number and lot 6 ended up with a different mixture. But I have some other ones I also received on 3/21 of 22. These are as thick as they should be, which you can't even shake it. The lot number, oh, I didn't write that down. The lot number on this one is, now that's lot number 6 also. And this one, which is also thick, that one is a lot number 5. And I know it's too hard to see. There you can see the lot number 5. And on this one that appears to be good is, not going to be able to see, there it is, the number 6. So I don't know what happened. And then I've got 3 other kits. These were dated and received on 5/26/22. This is also the gloss. I did notice these have a barcode on them. That's lot number 5, number 2, number 8. Again, if that's what those are, is lot numbers. Going back to these 2 over here, which were received on 3/21/22, just like the bad batches, there is no UPC on either one of those. So I'm really not too sure. So this one was 3/21 of 22 with a lot number of 6 with no barcode. The bad ones are also 3/21 of 22. They do have a barcode, and both of these are also lot number 6. So, I mean, you can hear it shaking it. You can tell how thin it is compared to these also, again, 3/21 of 22. I shake it and you can tell it's much thicker. So, I don't know. But I applied that one there. So there's some missing out of the bottle because I mixed up a total of 12 ounces. So I had 8 ounces of part A and 4 ounces of part B. This is the surface that I applied it to. And I'm going to turn my camera this way. And I know it's really difficult to see, but I actually applied 2 coats to this because the first coat, I mean, it looked absolutely awful. And there are going to be some areas when you get the glare in there, you can see that it almost looks like cloudy areas, but it is definitely not the gloss that UTC should be at all. It's more of a matte finish. So this large piece I applied 2 coats to because the first coat just looked awful. It just absolutely looked awful. And so, and the second coat was applied immediately after the first. I figured that I had nothing to lose. This, on the other hand, is I have 2 other small pieces, this piece and that piece. This was only 1 coat that applied to it. And Again, it's really, really difficult to see from the camera, but it almost appears like there are air bubbles, but it is definitely not. So you can see some of that in there, and it's all over the entire surface. But that is not the gloss that I've normally gotten from every other batch of the Ultimate Top Coat. And this was applied 12, 13, 14, over 15 hours ago, and it's still tacky. I mean, it feels like the backside of tape. I can run my hand over it, but it's still tacky. If I were to press down, I mean, I can see my fingerprints in there. That's how impressionable it still is. And this is the other piece. Again, not the gloss that it should be. And so many imperfections. And that's really frustrating because I don't know how long it's going to take for that to dry enough to be able to sand it down and apply another coat. And the problem is that, I mean, I honestly feel I'm going to need to sand entirely through the UTC into the flood coat that I applied over the color coat in order to bring back the shine and the gloss that it is supposed to have. Man, it's awful. Just absolutely awful. And that is so labor intensive to sand that down. And I mean, this is for a customer, so I may not have a choice but to sand down and completely reapply the color. And for color coat, I've got a total of 43 square feet. So between color coat and flood coat, that's going to be another 2 gallons of resin. So very frustrating when I should be able to install this in just a couple days. And now I'm probably at least another 4 days behind. Boy, I wish you could see some of the cloudiness and imperfections that are in there. There's some of it there. Anyway, all right, frustrating as it is. So I'm taking these 2 that are bad because they're so thin. I mean, that's a very light shake. And if I take 2 that are okay, that you can tell are thicker, you can't hear any shaking in there. So I'm taking these back, and I'll see what happens.